you, Lord Christ.
Jesus went out and sat by the sea. Such great crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat there, while the whole crowd stood on the beach. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, Listen, the sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seed fell on the path, and birds came and ate them up. Other seeds fell on rocky ground, but they did not have much soil. These sprang up quickly, since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched. Since they had no root, they withered away. Other seeds fell on thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil, and brought forth grain, some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. But anyone with ears, listen. You did the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches it away what is sown in his heart. This is what was sown on the path. As for what was sown on rocky ground, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Yet such a person has no root, but endures only a little while. And when trouble or persecution arises on account of the world, that person immediately falls away. As for what was sown among thorns, this is the one who hears the word, bears the world, and the word of wealth choke the world, and yields nothing. But as for what was sown on good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit. It yields in one case 100-fold, another 60, and another 30. Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jess Baycroft, and I am one of the co-wardens here at St. Andrews, and I've also had the opportunity to work with the youth group and Mary Merkel Scotland on the home trip for probably about 6 years, 5 of them going up to Maine and 1 staying here in Connecticut doing Habitat for Humanity. And the last 2 years, I've had the opportunity of coordinating and leading the trip up to Maine, leading our merry band of missioners, which has been a really rewarding experience. For those of you who aren't familiar with the trip, we basically load up on Sunday, we caravan all the way up to Maine, we get settled and we stay on campus at home. Last year, we didn't have that opportunity because our project was working on getting Home's campus up to par so that we could stay there this year. Monday, Tuesday, we work on projects around Home's campus. Wednesday, we took a break. We headed up to Acadia and into Bar Harbor for a bit of a break. And Thursday and Friday, we came back and we summed up our projects at home. I'm going to let the kids mostly tell you about their experiences up there, but before I let them do that, I would just like to say a few words about the chaperones. So we had 23 kids come up with us this year, and in order to make that work, I had 8 other chaperones up there with me to help me support the kids in our mission. So I would just like to give a brief shout out to all of them. Mark Auletta, who was our project coordinator, he was the one making sure we knew exactly what we were doing, how we were doing it, and what we needed to get it done. Sarah Valentine kept us very well fed and energized so that we were able to get the work done because it was very hot up there. So we were hydrated and fed because of Sarah. Matt Valentine was keeping us on budget to make sure that we had all the supplies we needed, but still were able to buy what we needed to. Jenny Conniff, Mark Tardy, and Ziggy were also great with helping. Anytime I needed anything, they were there and ready to take charge. So Ron behind me also was our head of theological mystery department, and so it was really nice to have him there, and he kept us all on our toes and thinking about and reflecting on the reasons that we were there and about what it was like to come together as one group and work as one. I believe and one other woman who is not here, she is a member of North Madison Congregational because we had a few parishioners from that church come with us, is Jen Davies, and she was amazing at always coming up with a game for us to play. When there was a down moment, she had some creative game that always kept us entertained. So thank you so much to those chaperones because we could not done it without you. And another quick shout out, we had 4 amazing student leaders on the trip. 3 of them, I believe, are here today. Christy Thune, Kate Hummel, Nicholas Valentine, and then Jake, thank you, who's not with us, but they were amazing. They really stepped up and helped out a lot this year. So heartfelt thank you to all chaperones, student leaders, and to the students. But without further ado, I'll let you tell them, or let them tell you about their experiences.
Hi, I'm Andrew King. This wasn't a trip that completely changed me or moved me spiritually. Instead, I gained some deep insight into homelessness. After several bad encounters with homeless people, my outlook on them wasn't the same as many others. Dirty, mean, lazy. I figured if they simply got a job and worked hard, they'd be fine. After a deep speech from Ron regarding these stigmas, I realized how wrong I was. These people weren't homeless because they were lazy or mean. They were homeless for 2 main reasons. One is the fact they were born into the world with almost nothing to their name, with a very poor family. The fact is, it's a big eat small world. And when you start off as the smallest of them all, odds are that some larger corporation or person will take advantage of you in one way or another. The second is that they specialize in fields that aren't very profitable. The buildings at home were made for pottery, weaving, art, and stained glass. There were no stores for insurance or technology because those fields are far more profitable than arts. These homeless people simply chose the wrong skill set, chasing a dream which they can't make major money off of because they don't care about the money. They just want to do what they love. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lincoln Miller. I got impacted about how empathetic and happy people were that experienced poverty or homelessness. I met Noah and he always had a smile on his face. He really inspired me to be more close and connect to people facing poverty or homelessness.
Hi, I'm Marcus Mazinski. 3 words to describe the home trip was new, fun, and educating. The trip was new to me because of the new experiences, the new friends, and the new nickname of Dwayne. The fun of the trip was apparent whether it was swimming, spike ball, or building, or just messing around. Lastly, the trip was educating because it gave me a window into how fortunate we are. And it also gave me a window into what home did for the community. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kevin Green. This trip really showed me how even a small amount of work that we did in a week could really have a big difference on big communities or even small communities. But it showed how homeless people really just need that little boost to make their lives a little better, and maybe eventually they can get out of homelessness or poverty and live I guess a better life, but middle class. Thank you.
I'm Clara, and I actually started at the trip cleaning the boys' showers while they played spike ball. And I really thought from that I wasn't going to enjoy the trip at all. Like, I was kind of scared for the rest of the trip, but I ended up having a lot of fun and meeting a lot of new people. And I think the community dinner impacted me the most because I really saw who we were helping, and it showed how much it was actually helping.
I'm Natalie, and I think the community dinner had like a very big impact on all of us because we were doing stuff, but it kind of felt like we were just doing like small projects here and there. And talking to the people at the community dinner made us realize like how much of an impact all of these little projects we were doing impacted all of them.
Hello, my name is Nicholas Valentine. I am one of the 4 student leaders that was on the trip, And I just wanted to talk about Julie. So every year we go, Julie, I guess, is the volunteer coordinator. So when we get there, we meet her and she shows us around, talks about some of the projects we'll do, and she talks about the impact that we have. And as she was doing that, she was moved almost to tears. And I think that just really showed how big of an impact we have. She was telling us how bright the future looks because our generation is coming and there's people like us in the world. And so the future is going to be bright. And she told us, don't let anyone tell you differently. And I think it was really special to be the good that she saw in the world. Thank you.
So if you ever cared to take the 6-hour drive up to home, you'll find there's a lot of buildings and crafted things that are signed by other groups that went up there to do some work. And I only had one contribution that I signed, which was a little workbench. But yeah, the Frankenbench, as Christy mentioned. And it's just amazing because when I go up there next year, hopefully, I'll be able to see that bench. And combined with all these other things that groups have made, you can really see the legacy that volunteers have made on the home campus. But I would say the only thing that surpassed that would probably be the peanut butter sandwiches.
I'm Kate. I was also one of the student leaders this year and last year. On Thursday, we do a community dinner for the people that work at home and the people that utilize home. And this year, Tracy, one of the people that works at home, she gave a speech telling us how big of an impact what we were doing really was. And throughout the week, I know a lot of us students felt like we weren't really doing anything that was super impactful. We were building picnic benches and scraping paint off of buildings, and we just felt like we weren't doing too much to help. But Tracy was explaining how they don't have the time to do all of that because they're too busy helping the people that are utilizing home. So what we were doing was actually very helpful and making a big difference. And I think hearing that was just really amazing.
Hi, I'm Christy. I was one of the 4 student leaders on the trip, and it was my second year going up to home. I think one of my biggest takeaways from this year's trip was that no matter who is on the trip or what we do, we get to meet a wide variety of people, and we make friends with people that we would have never expected to be with, whether that's the freshmen or the people staying at home. And I just think it's a wonderful experience that we got to go on. I look forward to it next year.
Hello, I'm Sarah, the kitchen lady, the food lady. And what would the talk be without more food talk? So Mark Tardy and I decided to bring back some blueberry jams and jellies, and that they will be down in Farmers Hall. And they're $10 for a jar. And we also have, what are they, maple sugar candies that are delicious. And those are also down there for $6. So please come check it out.
And I just want to add one more thing. So in the past years that we've gone up, we haven't really tracked the amount of work that we have done. And this year, Home asked me to track by person and project the amount of work that we put in by hour. And so for the first time, I actually have a number for the work that we did. And we put in 483 man and woman hours this week amongst all of us. So that's impressive.
So we really didn't spend a lot of time in prayer or in talk about Christianity this week, but rather we proclaimed the gospel by living it in action. Everybody came together as a community and we learned to love each other, and not just our strengths, but also our vulnerabilities, all those quirky characteristics each of us have that makes our lives so unique and so endearing. And sometimes during the week, someone would miss the mark. And when that happened, no one got condemned, but rather we just gathered around them in generosity and goodwill so that we could restore ourselves to right relationship. And we got a taste of what living a life of service might be like. It was a heart-centered experience, hearts that were open to each other, ready to receive the gifts that we each had to offer, and hearts ready to give what we could give. It was a week of giving and receiving. For me, the highlight of the trip was the community meal the students prepared for our hosts and the home staff and some of the shelter guests. There was a little anxiety ahead of time. What would it be like to have strangers among us and people who might not seem like us? We talked about that a little ahead of time and came up with some ways that might help us bring our neighbors into the community. Later on during the meal, as I looked up from my own conversation with someone who was just a delight, I could see dozens of conversations going on all around with people laughing and talking and genuinely enjoying each other. The food was great. The community was beautiful. Among those who were there that night was a young man named Noah, who was about the same age as many of our campers and was the grandson of a couple who'd served home for many, many years. I watched our community fold him into themselves, and the next day when he came to work with us as well. It was something to watch the joy in his face. Noah found his tribe, and we found a new friend. Today's gospel talks about someone who scatters seed. This week, we witnessed seed scattered on good soil. We watched it grow and bring forth grain. This is what the kingdom of God looks like. This is what it's like to walk on God's good road. May we all do likewise.